Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to make a build video on Zephyr. Zephyr's whole kit is revolved around air and being in the air for as long as possible or permanently. So for Zephyr's first ability, it is called Tailwind. You do a dash through the sky, and that's about that. And then if you hold it, if you hold the button, you will float in place and you can kind of move around while doing this, and it will slowly drain energy. And then if you are in the air while this or just your normal tailwind is active and look down and do it, you'll do an AoE explosion. Your second ability is called Air Burst. You throw it out and it sucks enemies into the area. Your third ability is called Turbulence, and it causes all enemy projectiles to miss and it'll just push them away from you. And then your fourth ability is called Tornado, and aptly you summon tornadoes. If you hold this, they will be in place, and if you tap it, they will wander around and chase after enemies and stuff. So, to show you these abilities, I have this group of enemies here. We'll be levitating, and then if we hit 2, you can see here, Air Burst, sucks them all into one place. Turbulence, I'll show here in a second, and then since I'm looking here, I'll hold it so the tornadoes stay in place. And then you can see, they land down. Sucks all the enemies up in the air, and then you can shoot into your tornadoes, and then they will take on the effect you use, which I normally use Blast with the tornadoes, which you can see here. All those guys are dead just from a few shots. Alright, now these guys are reset, and I have Turbulence active, and you can see they're all firing at me. The only downside with Turbulence is you are vulnerable to melee, because it's all ranged projectiles will avoid you. So, you can see I'm flying up above these guys, and none of their projectiles are hitting me, even though they're all firing at me. And that's pretty much it for your 3. It doesn't have a hold or anything like that. And then let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. And now we will jump into a Steel Path mission, now that I've shown off all the abilities, and I can show you how it works in an actual Steel Path mission. Alrighty, now we are here in the Steel Path with Zephyr to show off this build, which I only have one for you today. I went ahead and came out here to Deimos to show off Zephyr. And Zephyr, like I said before, the abilities are pretty nice and kind of lend themselves to Steel Path almost. Because your 3, you're just immune to all ranged, and then with your 1, you're flying. So you can't be hit by melee. The only, difference, I guess, would be maybe some Eximus have a stomp like the Blitz. Let's go ahead and get our tornadoes out here. And everyone's gone. Then we can air burst these guys down just to knock them over. There we go. And our tornadoes are going to roam around and get more damage for us, because they'll kind of chase after the enemies, so. And I'm running a blast setup for my burst on, which I'll show later on with the build for Zephyr. I like the blast setup with the tornadoes. It seems really, really nice. And let's go ahead and activate this again so we don't die. Let's air burst these guys and knock them down. And I know someone will probably mention it, why I'm not using Zephyr Prime. I just didn't want to spend platinum on Zephyr Prime, because I'm currently building another frame for an upcoming video. And they seemed a little more important than Zephyr Prime. Especially when, I'm just playing default Zephyr, and even now, in Steel Path, I'm doing just fine. So I feel like there's no reason for me to go get Prime, because I don't think the stat buffs are that much higher to the point of requiring Prime over the default. Let's go ahead and get our 1 active again. Or our 3, I mean. Let's get our tornadoes out. Let's air burst everybody into them. There we go. Let's get our Incarnate active again. There's the Void Rig over there. Air burst. There we go. Dash over here, slam down, air burst, pop back up in the air and activate our 1 so we're floating again. Spray into our tornadoes. If you love the red numbers, this one will be for you, because with the tornadoes and everything, red numbers are pretty common. Let's go ahead and get our tornadoes out again. Exhibit A of red numbers. Yeah, Zephyr's a frame that I had tried out a long time ago, but never really looked into until recently when I was looking for new frames to try out, just for some variety from the ones I've been playing. And Zephyr's really, really fun, because I like just flying around and being able to do just whatever I want, basically. Because I can only really be hit by melee when I'm not on the floor. And, melee, obviously I'm in the air, so they can't hit me. There we go. Blow up all those guys. Activate our Incarnon, activate our 3. And I've seen some people online have done some shenanigans with Zephyr, and I believe it's arcane something, but it's when you pick up energy orbs, it'll have a chance to knock down the enemies. And I've seen some people have done that and just fly down above the orbs, knock everybody down, and then fly away. Kind of like a hit and run strategy. But I kind of like this one. It's more of like a hang around strategy, like hold us own type of thing to get them off of that. Oops. There's a Blitz Eximus somewhere in here. Let's go ahead and activate our 3 again. There it was. I knew there's a Blitz Eximus in here somewhere. Leech Eximus. Let's get rid of this guy. Do a Mercy. Try to get some more energy. There we go. Let's go back into our 1. Let's airburst everybody in. Pop our tornadoes. Spray on in. Let's activate our Incarnon. Let's float towards these so that he has to come near us. I got knocked down in the air. There we go. Let's float. And let's get rid of Angst. But Zephyr's a frame that I was kind of interested in, so I was like, you know what? Let's give him a try. And Zephyr's actually pretty fun. Zephyr's more fun than I thought they were going to be. Because I haven't really seen too many people play Zephyr lately, and I thought with the new tiles for 1999 being so open and exposed like they are, that someone with high mobility would be pretty good for him. And Zephyr is indeed pretty good on those tile sets, because they're just so open and you can go virtually anywhere with your 1. Because you can just dash around and fly through the map freely rather than getting caught on nonsense like that. But yeah, Zephyr's pretty fun. I don't know if they're underrated, but I haven't seen anyone playing them lately, so maybe they're not as strong as they used to be or something. I've seen there's ways to nuke with Zephyr. I imagine that's with one of the augments, because I don't think I'm using any augments on this build. But with that being said, we will jump back into the arsenal so I can show you my build for Zephyr. Alrighty, now we are back in the back rooms so that I can show you my Zephyr and Burst on Blast setup that I've been using with specifically Zephyr. So for Zephyr, we have Aerodynamic, which you don't have to run this. I just kind of like it as like a little bit of extra protection if my 3 happens to not be on and I don't notice. But it gives us 24% reduced damage while airborne, and then you gain 6 seconds for Aim Glide and Wall Latch duration. Then we have Prime Continuity for more duration for our 1, 3, and 4. And then we have Flow for more energy, because our 1 is just constantly sapping energy. Rolling Guard, this is more of a insurance policy if I'm just like being really careless or playing too ballsy or whatever. So you don't have to run this if you really don't want to. That's perfectly fine. You can skip on this and throw in something like either Adaptation or more Strength or more Efficiency. Anything you really feel. This is a flexible slot. Then we have Stretch for more range. We have Constitution, which gives us more duration, and a little bit of knockdown recovery in case we get caught by one of those Blitz Eximus, or we happen to get caught by some slam attack from miscellaneous enemy number 9. Then we have Streamline for a little more efficiency, to where our drain on our 1 is not as bad, and then so that we can cast our abilities more often. Then we have Overextended for more range, which helps our tornadoes hit a bigger radius, makes our Turbulence shield a little bit bigger around us, and then our Airburst has a bigger pull AoE. And then we have Augur Message for more duration, and this also gives us a little bit of energy spent on abilities converted into shields. And then for our Arcanes, they're kind of flexible. You can run whatever you really want here, but I've been liking Arcane Energize for more energy, and Molt Efficiency to give us more duration when shields are active. which with these ones it's only 6% and 25, so like I said, these are flexible and you can put whatever you really want here. And then for an Exilis mod, I would throw on something like either Power Drift if you want some more strength, Mobilize for parkour velocity. You could also throw on Agility Drift if you want to for even more reduced damage, and then the enemies will be less accurate when targeting you, so this would be a pretty solid option if you want to, but the Exilis slot's kind of up to you and your playstyle. I would probably throw in Power Drift personally just to make my tornadoes a little stronger and everything like that. But that is our build for Zephyr, and now for my blast setup for the Burst on Prime. We have Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot that'll stack up on kill, Vital Sense for some crit damage, Shred for fire rate and a little bit of punch through, Crit Delay for crit chance, but we lose a little bit of fire rate, that's fine, we have Shred. If you don't want to use Shred or don't have it, you could slop on Vile Acceleration, which will give you 90% fire rate to counteract this even more, but I like the punch through from Shred. Then we have Thermite Rounds for heat and status chance, Galvanized Aptitude for status chance, and then on kill, you'll gain 40% direct damage per status type affecting the target. We have Rime Rounds for cold and status chance, and then we have Hellfire just for innate heat damage. And then for Zephyr specifically, I went with Primary Merciless, because I'm not going to be hitting heads more often than not, I'll be shooting into my tornadoes, so there's no really point to run Deadhead because I'm aiming at tornadoes and not people's heads. But if you were running this on a more grounded frame, then feel free to throw on Deadhead. And then if you want a setup that is not Blast, I have a Heat Corrosive setup, which is here. It's the exact same build for the most part. The only differences are the elements. I swapped out, I believe, Malignant Force for Heat Thermite Rounds. So it's the exact same build, but you swap out the Heat mod for the Toxin mod, and then I went for Deadhead as a more standard setup because I can hit heads. And then your other weapons don't matter too much, but I like a melee with a little bit more parkour velocity. So Okina, Praetos, whichever fits your style. And then for my Incarnate evolutions, I have Fortress Salvo, we have Ready Retaliation, and we have Absolute Valor. Which, if you don't want Absolute Valor, you could go for Fatal Affliction to just go all in on your statuses, but I really like the crit chance with this weapon because it's really nice just as like an all-around kind of thing, and with this setup I have 120% crit, and then on the Incarnate form I have 150% crit chance, so big chance to get our crits, and then this weapon has a 6 times multiplier, and we have a 90% status, so you could go for the other one because we have a ton of status on here, but those are my builds for Zephyr and Burst on Prime. I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless, and I will see you guys in the next video.